Hello and welcome back to the workshop. Tonight is another Halloween decoration project. My wife came home the other night with Mr. Bones. Mr. Bones, Mr. Bones, how do you feel, Mr. Bones? Write in the comments if you know what movie that song is from. Anyhow, she's given this skeleton prop for free. It needs a little bit of work. The arm is not attached. The jaw is not attached. The head is kind of attached. But I think we're gonna fix this back up, put them back together. And if you've seen some of the other one of the other videos I did with the flame background lights, in our windows we have skeletons hanging. It's a print, kind of a silhouette print on just clear plastic. That stuff is probably like 10 to 15 years old. It's starting to see its little bit of age. And in fact, if you know anywhere that I can acquire some new, or if anyone's making any of that new, I'll put a picture in or a video here somewhere, a video link. It's probably about 24 inches wide and I don't know, about 36 inches maybe tall. These skeleton silhouettes hanging from chains. But I've been looking around the last couple of years and seeing if anyone makes something similar, and there's really not. But they're kind of lifelike and silhouettes, and really looks good with a backlight. So anyhow, we thought this skeleton would go perfect with out front of our house. In fact, I may even try to hang him up by chains to make him match what's silhouetted in the windows. We'll probably 3D print some chains. It's probably going to be the least expensive way to go. We'll just cost filament and some time. Plus any like plastic chain or anything getting from a hardware store, it's generally not, it's generally white or yellow or something bright. So gonna try that. Being that it is plastic, I may have to reinforce it and kind of hide a wire or something in it. He's got a little bit of, Mr. Bones has got a little bit of weight here. All right, so let's get to it. All right, let's start on getting his head attached and maybe looking at a solution when I have it apart for this jaw. The head looks like it has lights or something in it that light up. So, okay. Light up. There's a battery door on the back. There's a switch back here too. Doesn't do anything. All right. So first step, let's take that cover off. There's screw holes all around the back here that split open. So get those out. Let's start with the battery compartment. We'll see how bad that battery is decayed. Oh, no batteries whatsoever. That's even better. Looking down in. Flashlight. LR44s. I have those. And looks to be about 3 of them. Okay. That's excellent news that that's not corroded. I will have to grab some of those from the other room a little bit later. All right, so I want to get to the jaw piece, and it looks like this piece splits off, and the whole front, actually the whole front probably splits off. Let's I think the Phillips head is too small. this size up. Yes, still fit down in those holes. And realistically, I just need to get this piece off. I think that'll just snap back into that hole. Wondering if, oh, that was a good shot. Wondering if the so I'm looking at if that splits apart, that should pop back on. I'm wondering if I should put a cable down through the spine to help support, or if I'm running fake chains, what I might do. Let's see if I could run it down the arms and through that section. And realistically, I wonder if a high strength, like a fishing line maybe? There was a video I just watched on one of the Halloween decorations of Stranger Things where I believe it's Max is floating. And that was just invisible line really holding the prop up. The video did not show the anchor points. So I assume that there was probably a tree or something they strung it off of. Really didn't go into that. It really just went into the prop itself. Right, because the switch and the battery pack are here on the back, there's probably going to be a cord. So I'm not going to... Come on. Okay, that's loose. That's loose. What are you? No. Yeah, there are two. What's holding it together? Yeah, there are two screw heads. So the front's got to come off. Show that piece here in a minute. And of course, these are different sizes. I'm going to create put these smaller ones to the side. I've got probably three of these smaller ones holding on the face. The seam line, well, it's kind of a nice seam line. It's right underneath the teeth. It's odd. It's some of these screws are in, I would not think, favorable places for, I mean, it was not a high cost prop, so. It's the screw heads you can see from the front on the skeleton vertebrae. Alright, so the two on the sides are a little bit larger than the one on the front of the teeth. Come on. Slow. It is apart. Yeah, interesting. If I can't get those lights to work, or if I want to do something a little bit differently, the eye sockets. The eye sockets and nose cup are separate. If you can see that here. They've got screws holding in this cup. It's probably a little bit of glue, maybe? Nope, totally open. So that's just holding those in. So if I wanted to take a different lighting background, that'd be pretty easy to do. Just take those out and I wouldn't have to cut anything. That is excellent. All right, so here's the two that I was talking about that were keeping the hole from separating. I'm gonna take one out, and that should maybe allow enough rotation to get that back on. Let's try not to pinch any of those cords. Come on. Ah, there you are. Mr. Bones, Mr. Bones. I'm going to bring you around a little bit. Okay, a little bit better. I'm kind of stretching over him. Him, her. Mr. Bones, Mr. Bones. Right, please. Those line up good there. Okay, jaw. And it's this pin right here that's broken. Could I do? You know, something that, like that, is not going to hold up with glue. I might just see if I've got a little screw that I can drill through and attach from the backside. Or, actually, yes, if I run the screw in, that's pretty solid. So I might just do that. See, dig through the personal hardware store here. I like having organized miscellaneous parts. I'm going to look for something that's stainless. 8 by an inch long. That's pretty long for this. Number 6 by 3/4 stainless. Number 8 by 1/2 inch. Number 8 by 1/2 inch. I like it. Now, I think I'm going to put a little bit of a starting hole there. Just a little bit of a starting hole, since that is not a self-tapping or self-drilling screw. It's at a bit of an angle. Just guessing, right? It's plastic. Actually harder than I was expecting, or this drill bit is really, really dull. Had I been smart, I would have marked where that hole was a little bit better before drilling the hole. Ah, beauty. Okay. That's in. His head's back on. Not going to mess with that just yet. I want to put this back together. Alright, I'm going to cut away and just get all those screws back in. Head's back on, jaw's in place. And now his arm. Let's slide him up a little bit. Just, I caught a glimpse of a skeleton laying across the workbench, and it made me laugh. Okay, his socket there is split. So now the question is how to adequately reattach. It's kind of open on both sides. I wonder if I could run a bolt through it and cinch it on both sides with washers. Maybe. Screws in the back here too, so that can split apart. And actually, I'm just going to get this socket out, the broken piece out, and then work on it from there. And just more hardware. For a second, I thought it was kind of meant to pop in, like after the halves have been put together. But I think much like the bottom of the neck and the vertebrae, base of the skull, I think all these joints go together, and then they put the screws in, and they're not supposed to go apart. It's split into two pieces. That's going to make things a little bit more difficult. Get Mr. Bones off the side. Alright, so this is split into two pieces. That. And an arm. Into place like that. So once it's in place, I mean the rest of the skeleton will hold these two halves together. I may just put a little bit of super glue there, just to hold them. And then let's see what we got. Did some digging around. Don't have any stainless hardware in that size would really work. Also didn't have anything in quarter 20 that would work. I did find some metric. I'm guessing that's M8, which is fine. Question is how to tighten that up. So I don't know. It's actually locked in place surprisingly well. Shocked I am. Let's get it back in. The screws fell out. Caught that. Let's question where that one came from. Get back in there. Mr. Bones' arm is reattached. Oh, and actually, my
My son corrected me. It should be Dr. Bones. And so his arm's reattached. It's not great, but it will do for right now. So let's go ahead and get these LR44 batteries in his head. See if he lights up. Taking 3 of them. Looks like 3 of them. So the LEDs are running 4.5, 5 volts would probably work. We could probably put 5 volts to it. And 5 volts is actually interesting. We've got some other lighting out there. That's 5 volts. So even if I wanted to wire him in, which might not be a bad idea. So he comes on. He comes on with the rest of the lighting. Realistically, that's what I was going to do with if I did a flame light or something in him. Just wire it in. Ooh. It's like his eyes are red. So the switch has 3 positions, on, off, and it looks like the middle might be a timer, which is kind of annoying, having to turn him on every day. So, let me get these back in. Turn off. Excellent that his LEDs are working. Now, if I want to emulate some of the silhouettes that are in the windows, I can either hang him up, like a noose, but not a favor of that. Let's string him up by his arms with maybe like a shackle. Really looking at about a 2-inch. About a 2.5-inch inside shackle. Okay, so the estimate on printing chain turned out to be about 14 hours, and nobody's got time for that. So my wife just ended up hanging up Mr. Bones into one of the trees. It's one of the shorter trees, which perfectly okay, looks great. I did finally dig out what I was talking about with the plastic and the silhouette of the skeleton. I think these things are probably like 15 years old, maybe. At least 10 to 15. Guessing we got it probably at a Spirit Halloween store. If anybody has any ideas if they're still making these or if these are still available, please comment below. That'd be awesome. These are starting to show their age with cracking and tearing and all that, and we would love to replace them. And lastly, I also made up a battery eliminator for the 3 LR44 batteries, just using a standard connector. Anyhow, I'm going to finish this up, and thanks for joining. And if you enjoyed, please press thumbs up. If you want to see more projects that I work on, please subscribe, and I'll see you on another project. Thanks. Bye.